Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's lovely to have you here. Little bit more straightforward today. I hope there's not going to be as many clangers dropped as were the other day when we did the sausages and beef burgers and stuff. He said dropping the first clanger because the brakes aren't on his trolley. Brakes are on, so we're good now. Yes, today I'm going to be using the Thuros again. This time with the rotisserie on, because I've got this, which has come from Campbell's, and it's a specially selected pork belly, boned and skin on. And what I'm going to do is roll it onto the rotisserie and then shove it on for a rotisserie cook, and we'll see what happens from there. So why don't you join me? Let's see how this one goes. So yes, here it is, the Thuros spit. Now what I need to try and work out before I do much more is what the, move the motor David, is quite how far or what the roll needs to be on this piece of pork. And I'm just going to try and look at it, and I'm thinking by the time I'm finished it is going to roll quite nicely. So in order to do this, there's kind of an order of things, and the first order of things, I think, will be to get the barbecue going, because obviously if I've got no heat, then I'm not going to be able to cook the pork, so we might as well start it now. I have decided again to use these delightful little ProQ briquettes. The coconut briquettes is what they are, and I've already shoved some of the wood wool firelighters underneath the starter here. So all I need to do is just open up my flamethrower. By gum, you can tell it's been cold. That's it, we've got a good flame, and just start them. So there they go. Turn that off. Turn off. That's it. I tell you what it is, mind. Today's Wednesday. Was it the 28th, 29th? 20th, 29th? It's something, yeah, it's 29th. It's bloody freezing. Temperature is not very high at all. In fact, it's showing 13 degrees, and that's inside the Kamado. So it's not warm, it's quite cold out here. But we're going to let these get themselves away. They can flitter on for a donkey's age and get themselves sorted, and let's start and roll the pork. Now the thing about it is I've not done this before. Generally speaking, when I've done belly pork in the oven, it's been sat in the oven for like, I don't know, 4 to 6 hours, something like that, and then I've pressed it in the fridge, and then I've chucked it on the barbie later just to crispen it up a little bit. But I've never really gone for a crackling on it, and I want to see what I can do with this. So let's make a start, shall we? We'll start by taking it out of its packet, which is probably a good thing to do. So here it is. Obviously we need to get it dried off a little bit, and as you can see it's been boned. Before I roll it though, I'm going to make myself a little bit of a rub. I already have in here some sea salt, the pyramid kind, and all I'm going to do is drop some of my favourite honey and mustard rub in there, about even quantities, maybe a little more. There we go. So that's the stuff chucked in for the rub. Just mix it around, flush our looks, and then sprinkle some on the inside, and then prepare to roll. And I'm going to need my butcher twine here. I'm just trying to see if you can see what I'm doing, because I've got smoke, which is a first. Just a second, I've wound them up. So roll it up and wrap it up. is the idea. So we get that there, and I just want to get that rolled so it doesn't really matter whether that bottom comes away or not. So we'll get the first one on. Concentration's ridiculous. That's it. So that's that first one on. Lovely. And since we don't want the string to be burning, cut the ends off, so we need one at either end. I want it reasonably tight. All fingers and thumbs. It is cold, surprisingly so. That's that bit. And this end. Come on fingers, don't fail me now. The bit I like about this is that it's come pre-scored, so I don't have to worry about making sure that that string, butcher's rope, twine, string, whatever you want to call it, fits in. Right, so there we have it. It's not quite fully circular yet, but that'll work itself out. So let's get it onto the skewer. Get in. Lovely. Cracking central. Tighten that one up a bit. Move that out the way, David, then people can see what you're doing. And then at a slight angle, push this one in. Need to make sure it's catching, which it is. That'll do. Lovely. Right, so there you go, that's that bit done. What I need to do now is coat the rest of the outside with my rub, and just rub it in. Want it well into those gaps. Doesn't matter that there's not going to be too much there, because like I say, I'm kind of hoping I'm going to be able to get some crackling out of all of this, so we'll just clag it on as best we can, and that can now sit and fester while we sort everything else out. And we seem to have stopped with flames over on the barbie, as you'll be able to see. And if I don't know whether you can see down in there, can you, or not? Let's just, they're coming out anyway. And I now have a space to put that under, so that can sit there. Right, because I'm going to be using the rotisserie, I kind of want these briquettes front and back. I don't want a flat bed, so I've worked out it's 5 across and a couple for spares. There we go, we've got a nice channel down the middle. I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes, because at the moment I don't need to be shoving it on there, but I will put the wind deflector on. Before it all gets achingly hot. Right, that's it. Lusho looks. And that should work out quite nicely, I think. Actually, what the hell, let's get it on. So it slides in relatively straightforward, I hope. That's it, it's on. Right, so there it is, it's plugged in, and I'm going to just now move this so that I can get to my socket. Right, and on you go. It's just trying to work out whether you can see all right. The height is what it is, and hopefully any drippings that come off this will drip down between the piles of briquettes, so we should, he said, hopefully be alright for flare-ups. Of course, there's one thing I haven't done, so I shall just stop the rotisserie for a second and shove a meter in while it's still cool enough so to do. Meter number 2 has gone in. Start the rotisserie again, and then I can get the cook started on the meter in a few minutes. I'm not going to bother straight away because it'll take its own sweet time as it always does. So I'll be back with you in a bit. Well, hello, yes, I'm back. I've got a meter here and I picked probe 2. Now, interesting, it thinks 4's cooking, but it knows number 2 is. So let's set it up. Tap set up cook, and it's going to be pork. And what have we got? Roast, belly. It's suggesting 63. No. It needs to be much higher than that. So I'm going to take that up to 90 is where it's going, and we'll start the cook. And that's it. But you'll be able to see, looking down at what's going on, that we've now got good ashing over on that. There's a good amount of heat hitting towards it all, so I'm really quite pleased with the way it's working. That's cracking. Right, I'll see you in a bit when we get closer towards the end of the cook. Otherwise, it's just drinking beer time. See you in a bit. Well, yes, doing the cook, it's doing itself out there. And I'm sat here in front of my computer. Let me just show you what's going on. And there you have it. The cook is going on. Look, telling me. So it's estimating the cook time. That takes forever to do, but there's the graph of the external temperature, and there is the graph of the cook itself. So I can just sit here with my feet up, enjoying me little bit self, as you do. I never know where the camera is, it's there. Yes, so I can just sit in the warm, don't have to be outside in the freeze. It's all under cover, so if it rains it doesn't matter, and the whole thing will sort itself out. The meter will let me know where we're at. It's a great way to cook it. Yes, so back in a bit. Well, hello. It's kind of an interim one, this one. I've been monitoring the cook from indoors, as you'll have seen. Whoops. Chucking stuff about the place. And I thought I would pop out and just have a look at it and see how it's going. And as you can see, it's not doing too badly, but I just want to see how it probes. I'm going to use my Thermapen Pro for that and see what happens. So we'll just stop that. And yeah, that's nowhere close to being tender enough yet. But it is showing 57 degrees more or less. So we can let that carry on. Yes. I just wondered, I have to be honest, I just wondered how it was doing, so I thought I would come out and have a look, because I'd seen via the meter probe that the ambient temperature had dropped a little, and I'm just wondering whether it's worthwhile putting another couple of bits of coal on there just to see. I might drop some of that alder wood on, because the alder wood burns quickly and lights easily. Let's give it a try. It is very light, is the alder wood. We'll just drop those bits in. It'll either work or it won't. We'll see. But we're not quite there yet. Back in a bit. As you can see, it's tad smoky in here at the minute. And as you might be able to see from the other camera, we've had a bit of a flame on. So I'm just going to try and rectify the situation by making a drip tray of sorts, which hopefully will just fit in and prevent the flames from popping up. There we go. Go out. Right. That might do the trick. That just confirms the need, as I thought earlier on, to put the water trough in there. I'm just going to raise a couple of plastic shuttery windowy things to try and get the smoke out. Great fun, isn't it? Well, that seems to have sorted the worst of it. The smoke has disappeared. The flameage has stopped, thankfully. But yes, I think I need to get the water trough to put in the middle of there, just to make life a little bit simpler. And it'll give me some way of stacking coals up as well. Thoughts for the future. See you when it's finished. Took it to an internal of 75, so what I'm going to do is turn the board over. Stick the other camera on. So my meat can go down there. I'm going to prepare a little chunk of foil for it to lie in, which you can see perfectly well. That's good. And then take a cloth and a glove, and then lift the whole thing off to there, and then we can take that out. You can sit there, take that out, come off, take them out. Wrap it up and let it fester for a good quarter hour, 20 minutes, just to get up to a temperature where I want it. So yes, the whole thing can now sort itself out. Yeah, not too hot, that's good. It's achieved, what is it? Yeah, we're at 74 degrees. Should finish it around about 75, and then we'll start slicing it and see what it looks like. Aside from that bit of flameage earlier on, which we seem to have sorted, all things are good. Well, right, yes, we're just about there. Welcome back, by the way. I hope you've been enjoying yourselves thus far, but it's time, I think, to unwrap this. And you can see there's lovely bits of juice floating about on there. Look at that, lush or looks. I want to confirm what temperature this is all at. So let's see if we can do that, shall we? And I'm going to be using a thermopen. So let's drop it in. Oh, and that feels tender. And I don't know, can you see? Let's try and move this about the place so you can see. There it is. That's the temperature the thermopen showing. We're at 80 degrees. And the thermopen, as ever, is calibrated, so it'll be right. And 80 degrees makes for nice, tender belly pork, or it should do. So let's pull the meter out. There it goes. And wipe the hands again. Up. Yeah, okay, thank you very much. You can go. Lovely. So let's cut it straight down. Hang on. Nearly, but not quite. Alright then, we'll go with an edge piece, because we can. You never know your luck. It sounds crackly. And look at it. Is it? Well, get rid of the string, because we don't want the string. That can go. Try not to get myself all... Oop. Have we or have we not? There may be some bits on here that have actually... It has, it's crackled. It's crackled. Oh, that's nice. I suppose really with all that flame that was flitting about, you would have expected it to have crackled. And that is indeed nicely crackly. Mrs. Fat Lad is going to be well chuffed. Right. And so, let's chop a chunk off. Meat and fat, two together. There's the bit. Oh my goodness me. It's lovely and juicy. The fat has rendered, excuse me, the fat has rendered rather nicely, as you can see. Nice bits, nice and soft, oozing juice. I normally hate it when people do that. That's a big chunk. It is a big chunk, and I'm going to give it a go. And if there's silence for a little while, I'm sorry, I don't care. If it's nice, I'm going to enjoy it. Oh my God. You know how you get one of those times when you're pleased there's nobody else around? And this is definitely one of those times. I love belly pork. I've always loved belly pork. I've never been a big fan of crackling, but I appear to have actually managed to get some crackling. You can probably hear it crunching. My granddad used to call these scrunchums. And I know why. So there it is. Total cook time. Total cook time from start to finish, 1:30 or 5:10. It's 3.5 hours from starting it, rolling it, lighting it, to trying it. And I have to say that in terms of nice bits of meat to eat, I'll be honest, I'm not a pro YouTuber, so I'm really not sure how to demonstrate it all, but it is soft as clarts. Pull it to bits. And it tastes lovely. And I do mean lovely. It's slipping down a treat. Gorgeous. My wife's going to love it, if there's any left. And there might not be. Here's what I've learned. I've learned to use maybe 3 rows of those ProQ, so that's 15 a side. That'll work. No, 15 a side? I'd say 10, maybe 12 a side of the ProQ Coconut briquettes. But I do need to get the little water bath thing that drops into the Thuros, purely and simply so that I've got somewhere to catch the fat that drips off a rotisserie pork belly. If that had been, you know, in one of the other barbecues in a pan, it would have been fine, but I wanted it to do on the rotisserie. So if that's the case, I'm going to need to get a water pan. So I'll be shopping for one of those shortly after I've started this video transferring across onto the edit machine, because I love the flavour that's come out of that. That rub's lovely. The saltiness is just about right. I've got crackling. And if I can stop flare-ups and flame-ups, that'll be brilliant. I think if I hadn't put the rub on the skin and just put salt on, it would have worked just as nicely, but this is gorgeous. It really is. So, I've learned something. If you've learned anything or you've enjoyed the video, please leave it a big thumbs up down below, because down below is where the comments go. So leave a comment as well. And yeah, if you feel like it, subscribe. It helps the channel out. When it gets to 100 subscribers, apparently I can have a name on the channel and not just a jumble of letters. And you know I want to get Floor BBQ on there. Fat lad on a barbecue. That'll be lovely. And you know, it's dead easy to find then. So yes, thank you very much for watching. If you have thus far, I'll see you on the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves and keep the charcoal burning right without coming into flare-ups. And most of all, stay safe. See you later. Bye bye now. Bye bye. Right, there's another bit. Haha. Lovely. And a bit crackling.